Hey guys, welcome back to Snark and Spark. I'm Emily, and today I'm doing something a little different. Way back at the beginning of my channel, I had mentioned that I grid the back of my fabrics, and I got a lot of questions and about how I do that, and if I could show a tutorial about what I do. And I kind of put it off, but I'm about to start a new project on this scrap piece of Aida, and I thought I might as well just do it with you guys so you can see how I do it. So, this is a 14 count, I believe, 14 count piece of Aida called in the color Cafe au Lait. It's not showing as brown here, but I also have a bunch of lights on because it is dark today. Thank you, rain. But this is Cafe au Lait by Dove Stitch. It was an Etsy store. But I've got a little, this is actually part of my magnet board that holds my patterns, but it comes with this fun ruler that is really nifty and easy to use. And this is a friction pen. So I have a Pilot friction pen. Nope. I love that it doesn't focus, but it's focused on this. But this, yeah, this is a Pilot friction pin. It says it's a 7. These are the erasable ones. So can you hear my dogs barking? They're outside. That's annoying. I use these because I do like that they are quote unquote erasable. They come off with heat. So when I'm done with my project, I take an iron over it and the lines go away, but I am still nervous about this. It still makes me a little hesitant, which is why I grid the back of my fabric. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to figure this out, and I still make mistakes. So I can't promise that this is going to be perfect because I'm doing it here with you, or at least the beginning. Gosh, yeah. So I actually have a pattern pulled up on my computer screen. I have a digital magazine that I have actually got. And so I want to make on this piece of fabric, what is this called? It's called Happy Birthday. It's part of the Woodland Cards Key, and it was by, let me tell you, oh gosh, her name is all messed up. Becky Spencer. I'm so sorry. Oh, it says they're right here and much bigger. So this is one of the Forest Friends or Woodland Cards project. And I'm specifically doing the one that is rabbits that say happy birthday. And I am doing that one for a coworker of mine whose birthday is coming up and she owns rabbits. So I thought it would be nice to make that for her. And so I've got it pulled up here and I'm looking at the dimensions. The design area is 3. This is because she's got some that go this way and some that go this way. So I'm actually trying to make it make sense for me. So I have one that goes this way, which means it is 3 3/4 inches this way and 4 1/4 inches this way. Now, what I like, I'm looking at her chart, which really helps. I like that it's a rectangle, but it's an even rectangle. So basically it's 60 squares across. And when I say 60 squares across, that's exactly what I mean. They're separated into blocks of 10. It's 60 across and 40 down, and it is even. So the middle line is like would exactly be that middle axis, which is really, really nice because on a piece like this, it simplifies it for me because I could do like the folded in half kind of thing. Honestly, I'm gonna eyeball this one. If it was a weird measurement, if it was a really awkward size where it wasn't gonna be even like this, I would definitely measure. With this one, I know that my fabric is about 8 inches, give or take a little bit. Yeah, it's just under 8 inches. And just over 5. So I have plenty of working room, and I'm not afraid to use a like small piece of fabric like this because it's going to go onto a card. So it doesn't matter if it's a little tight, I'm going to trim it off really close to the edges anyways and then attach it to a card. Maybe I'll do a make a card with me video. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in. Sorry if this video is a little chaotic and my hands are all over the place. I'm still getting used to doing this like top down kind of thing. It took me forever just to get my like camera lined up. So let's do this. I'm kind of eyeballing it, like I said, because it doesn't need to be perfect, but this looks to me to be about the same. I've got about a finger width here. Half of 7 is 3.5, so I'm going to go to that 3.5 line. And we're going to say that this is the 3.5. So there's my first line, and from here it's actually really nice and easy. So I'm going to take this all the way up. And all I'm doing, if it's hard to see, I'm really sorry. Actually, it's looking really nice. It helps that I have a darker desk. It helps that the back of this is plain. This is like a stamped. So the back of this is just plain white and my desk is slightly darker. It's kind of a ivory. So it's showing up really well and you can see where the holes are, where the squares are. Okay, so I took the line all the way up. So from this way, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say that the stitchable area is 5 inches because that gives me a nice number to work with, which would mean that the middle is at 2.5. And if I look at 2.5, I'm going to say that's right here. Now this is where I'm going to kind of branch out differently. I'm not going to get as far as I would. I'm not going to take it all the way to the edges yet. Actually, that's a lie. I am. So I am going to take the line all the way to the edges. Okay, so this is where it gets tedious because this is where the actual counting comes in now, and I will probably speed this part up and put some music on because you guys don't want to sit here and listen to me count the whole time. But that's okay. So basically what I'm gonna do though, or maybe I'll just cut this whole part out when I start going and then just show you the finished product. But basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just count the 10 squares and then do a line, count another 10, do a line, and so on until I can make my box. It's really nice that this is only 20 up and 20 down because it's 40 total. So I will count my 20 up first and start my outside box, and then I will go over here and do my 30 and make my outside box first, and then I will go back in and make the grid. So if this goes according to plan, I will fast forward as I draw, and you will see that, and then pause when I get to a certain step, maybe talk a little bit, fast forward again. If not, it might just be some jump cuts. You might not get to see me doing this, so fingers crossed that this works out. And if not, you'll see the next part. I will draw the first section of my box. Okay, so here's the outline of the box that I have. I have marked off by 10 up here. You can see that my bottoms don't have lines because once I kind of got going, it's just connecting the box. But here I've got my box. It's not going to be that big. Now all I need to do is just draw in those extra grid lines, and because I've got the areas marked already, it's just a matter of following them across and connecting them. Now, this was a really easy project to grid. One, it's small. Smaller projects are always going to be easy. Two, it is a regular size. And what I mean by that is it's even. It is an even rectangle. That doesn't even sound possible. But in terms of cross stitching, you know, there's no odd stitch counts. It's not like the middle line is 42 or 37. You know, it's directly, it goes out 30 on each side. So if you count, if this is your 0, there's going to be a 30 on both. Or if you say this is your 0, you know, like this will be your 60. The other reason why having a like even piece or a regular piece is helpful is because when you're gridding, and it has taken me, I mess this up like every single project except for like this one because it isn't even, you're gridding backwards. So I'm looking at it and you guys are looking at it and we're seeing that this is the top left, right? But okay, I've marked that little red dot. But when I flip it over, that little red dot is right here now, which is my top right corner. Or if you do something like this, you know, you're gonna... So you have to remember wherever you start and whichever one you start, you need to designate your corner somehow. I usually do something like this, where I put a dot or some other symbol. I will star it or mark it so I know, yes, this is like where I started my grid, is what on the back is the top left, but when I flip it over to the front, and I always flip the same way, this is my top right. And I know that because that's how I grid things. That's how I keep it in my head. So definitely do something so that way when you're looking at the back of your piece, you can know with a glance if it is the right way up, if it is not, before you even really start stitching, or if you put it down. Like on this one, it has mirror motifs, so I want to make sure that I pick it up and I'm stitching the same direction each and every time. I'm just making these lines a little longer because I like to see the outer of my grid. But yes, that's basically it. That's really easy, but just keep in mind that it is reversed. It is flipped. So even though on the back, like I said, this is the top left for me, I do know for a fact, because I have this little circled dot, because I have that, I think of this as like my touch point. So like pinch it here and flip it over. You know, I know that that's there. And so when I'm stitching on it from the front, you can kind of see the lines a little bit through, which is nice. I do like to use these dark colors. This is red. I have a blue. I have a black. They also work on black Aida. I have a pink that works really well on black Aida, just so you know. I am pushing this down on my like white desk, so you can kind of, and I'm stretching it, so you can kind of see the lines, which is nice when you're stitching, but that way it does give me when I'm counting. Okay, that's my top right. I like to start in my top left, or even, I'm a weird stitcher because I'm left-handed. I either like to start in my top left or in my bottom right. It really just depends on the pattern and what's going on with it. I'm not a huge fan of starting in the middle, though honestly with this one, I probably will, just because the designer has put a heart directly in this like middle space, and so it would be a really easy and safe spot to start stitching with. Honestly though, gridding is supposed to make your life easier, your stitching life easier, so at the end of the day, do whatever you need to do so that it makes sense. That's why I do it this way, because for some weird way, this is how my wacky eccentric brain works, and this is how I make sense of it. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this. That's my tutorial. If you want to see some more, if you'd like to see me grid a bigger project, or one of those wonky ones that I was talking about, let me know. I do have some bigger projects that I haven't fully gridded that I would be willing to pull out and show you guys, or things I haven't started yet that I could grid. If you want to see me make this into a card when it's all said and done, let me know that as well. But yeah, I kind of like doing these, like, I don't want to say tutorial, but like do something with me videos. So don't be surprised if you see some more of these. But in the meantime, I will let you guys go, and thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Hit me up in those comments if you have anything you want to see or any questions, if there's anything I can explain further. But until then, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Be easy with your hearts.